Hi everyone, welcome to another video. It's a short video this time. I know I've been neglecting you and the channel with not posting anything for a while, but I'm going to try and make up for that today. So if you remember, if you've been a subscriber to my channel for over a year, you'll know that I had a 4-part series of making a solar power weather station, and that finished about August last year. And in that time, it's been outside doing its thing in the garden. So I thought I'd do this as a little catch-up, an anniversary catch-up, to let you know what's been happening and how well it's gone. Hope you enjoy it. So here we are, over a year from when I last did the update for the solar power weather station. This is where I ended up putting it. As you can see, those are the solar panels which in the last episode I drilled and put up, and I ran a cable behind the drain pipes down and through a connector. We've got a little cover. Now the cover was made up from a pond plant holder, so those aquatic plants that you put in ponds, and put them in this holder. So I've turned it upside down, cut a little gap for the cable. Now I haven't got this turned on for a reason which I'll tell you about later, but it should still show you that it's working. So let's just take the top off. As I say, I haven't looked at this for over a year, so I can still see blue and red lights. So lots of various creatures have escaping their houses. Right, okay, so there's the connector. It's looking okay. So if you can see, we've got a fully charged battery back. As I say, the Raspberry Pi isn't on, but we've got 5 volts coming in through the voltage converter, as shown by the little flickering, display, although it's not flickering in real life, just on camera. So I think we need to undo that connector and get this box back onto a bench, just to see if it's withstood the water for all this time. So I'm just going to put you on a little tripod for a minute. 1 second. Right, so let's find the connector. It's yeah, it's definitely seen some action. I don't know whether you can see that, but that's rain splashing up against it. So that's the probe. So we'll have to get the probe out of there, and we'll have to right, so let's see if we can undo this, or if it's sealed on. No, there you go. Is that the right side? I don't know which is the right side. So let's just couple this. Okay, I've got the wrong screwdriver. 1 moment. Right, let's have a look. Oh, now, interesting. That screw looks relatively okay. It's just, yeah, the voltage is gone. This screw looks like it's had some rusting going on, so that's interesting. Oh, is it? It's not. Yeah, I never get these ones right. I think it's that one. That screw's okay. And that's the one. I think that's the right one for. Yeah, so that's okay. Right. I wish I'd marked which end which end was which. Just take the cable ties off. Okay, so I've actually done the wrong end, but it doesn't really matter. Just pull that out here. Oops. Okay, let's just pull those in here for now. Put those up here in case it rains. Luckily the weather's been fine recently, so hopefully it doesn't rain. Blue sky today, which is unusual. Right, let's get this cleaned up and back on the bench. Yeah, it's not looking great. So here we are, 1 year on from me doing the last review of the solar power weather station, putting it in the garden and essentially leaving it for a year. So this is the first time we've had it back in the house, the first time I've looked at to see what a year's worth of being outside has done to it. So the first thing I think we should do is take off the top and just make sure that we've got no water ingress, because that was my main problem and my main concern throughout the whole of this. So let's just take these out. There will be dirt everywhere because it's, you know, it's not been in a perfect place. It's had a bit of rain and dirt splashed upon it during its life. It's had temperatures of, I guess, -3. It's had pluses of sort of the upper 20 degrees Celsius. This is all Celsius because nobody deals in Fahrenheit anymore. So yeah, upwards of 20, 25, 26, 27 degrees Celsius, and -3 at the lower end. And what else? Well, the climate is quite a. It's not you know, the weather temperature is normally in the winters in the single figures Celsius, and normally it's in the low double figures during the rest of the year. So anyway, that's the screws out. Let's take the top off. Okay, so yeah, it's dirty. I'll have to clean it up obviously, but the gasket seems to have done a good job. I do not see any water ingress anywhere. These silica gel packages don't seem to need replacing, which is good. I can put these back in again. They're not damp there. They're still very much dry in there. So the first good thing, the case that I chose finally, you know, I had an aborted attempt. The first case I bought from China was not great. The second case I bought from Finland, which is this one, seems to be excellent. Yeah. Yeah, all sealed, all perfect by the looks of things. Now, we know that this. I'm just leaning on something. That is that horrible creaking noise. We do know that this is working. The voltage regulator and the little current meter. That's all it is really. It's just a current meter, so I could see what the draw was by the power bank and the Raspberry Pi. And what seems to happen is, as I expected, when the power bank is fully charged, the Raspberry Pi therefore doesn't, the current coming from the solar panel goes to 0 at this point, because the electronics in the power bank have shut off the charge. So that seems fine. Let's see if I can take this off. I might have to redo all this, but power bank. Well, the power bank looks fully charged there. I'll probably do some more experiments with it to see if it's degraded in any way, but let's just take all this off. Yeah, I don't know whether you can see that. I'm hoping you can see that. Yeah, all the blue lights are on, which means it's fully charged. So let me just get something that I can show whether it's still operational, and to see if it doesn't fall off a cliff. So I've got a USB powered fan here. I'll just put it down here, and let's just plug this in, make sure everything is fine. Switch it on full. Yep. That does seem to be fine. Now we'll leave it on off camera just to see how long that goes before it completely drains. And now I can tell you a little bit about what happened over the course of the year. So quickly, as soon as I put it in, for the first few weeks, it was working okay for about, if you think of a week, 7-day week, it was work. I would charge it up. The first time I charged it up, put it in on a Sunday evening, and it was lasting until about late Wednesday, early Thursday, and then it was running out of power from the power bank. So for most of the year, I've had it switched off, and that's what I didn't. That's what I said I was going to tell you out when we were picking the box up from outside. It has been switched off for most of this year, so this is really a test. This is really a sort of like an evaluation of what all the other parts, whether the solar bank does work, whether the power bank does work as a essentially a UPS. And whether it can be charged up, and whether the case was watertight, and all of the other things. And generally, what we can see is the case indeed was watertight. I've got no ingress whatsoever. That's a good thing. The voltage regulator was fine. The power bank looks to be fine. It's completely bone dry. Now this power bank, and one of the reasons why I put the little case over the top, the planter, the upturned planter that I showed you earlier on, that planter was to try and reduce the temperature, because of the fact that this is a transparent lid. When the sun hits this got quite hot. I noticed quite early on. But this does have thermal protection in, so this was shutting itself off. So I just put the planter on just to stop the direct sunlight hitting that. But after that, it's been fine. So unless this test with the fan goes particularly badly, I think that I can say that the power bank is fine, as well as the watering the case is also fine. And now the real reason why I haven't been using it all year, and that is because, like I said, I had to switch it off because the drain of current. Two things really. The Raspberry Pi this is a Raspberry Pi B. He just looks in. It's a Raspberry Pi 2B. And yeah, the problem with that is it just drains too much current. So two things. I'm going to try and replace it with a Pi Zero. And also I'm going to try and do the thing with the code where you can put it in a low power mode between the taking each data point. So at the moment it's got a full GUI on it. We don't need a full GUI, so I'll do a headless version of Linux on there. We will use the Raspberry Pi Zero, and we will put it in low power mode between the time that it takes every data point. Now, it doesn't need to take a data point really for temperature any more than 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes it'll take a data point, and then it can go into low power mode for the other 4 minutes and 59 seconds, which should help greatly. The power bank's fine. The solar panels are also another problem, and the solar panels were just not up to it. Really, they're very poorly made. The crystalline structure is I think it's the offcuts basically of the good stuff. And even though I had 2 in series, there wasn't enough current going in. The current was getting generated, was going in. The voltage regulator did tell me at various points of the day that there was charge going in here, and I could see it from the LEDs on the power bank. But sadly, it's just not enough current for long enough to keep this completely maintenance free all year. Specifically in the winter days where the sun around these parts is not often. Is not often. What am I trying to say, John? I'm trying to say that you get much darker days in the winter in the northeast of England. So we have problems there. What am I going to do about that? I don't know. My gut feeling is I need to get a better solar panel for a start, but I might also need to reposition the ones I've got and put it somewhere that gets a bit of light more often or for longer periods of time. The current position where those solar panels are in it gets sun late morning, or it gets full light late morning, but then it goes quite quickly in the afternoon. So there's just not enough light for as long a period as is necessary to charge this up for the state that this will operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, that's the long and the short of it. The principles are fine, but it needs to be a little more energy saving in order for it to work fully. So there will be time when I will re-engineer some of this new Raspberry Pi, write some more code, because my code I've not really touched since the last time, and the AWS IoT thing is still not working the way I expected it to work, and that might just be me not understanding the documentation, which for AWS that's entirely possible. So I've got to do that. I've got to rewrite some code. I'll probably use OpenWeatherMap as an API as well, or instead of AWS IoT. But we'll see. And I just got to get less current to draw and more current to charge this, less current draw for this, and if I can get that, I'm sure it will work. There's always a possibility it may not work in the area where I live, because it's not bright enough for long enough. Anyway, so that is a quick précis, a rambling précis without a script of 1 year on with the solar powered weather station. And so I will clean up the box. I will reposition all of these things, because obviously I've got I've taken all these little hook and eye Velcro things. Replace those, but everything else in the box is fine. But this is the next replacement. This has to go to a Raspberry Pi 0 rather than the version 2 that's on there, and hopefully that'll give us a better chance of a 24/7 operation. Anyway, I'm going to wind this up now. I will leave this fan going, to make sure that this power bank does drain. It hasn't lost any of its capacity. It looks to be fine at the moment. Still got all of this lights on, so that's pretty good. And I will check you next time with another video, and possibly another update once I get around to doing all those things that I propose. So thank you for watching the channel, and hopefully you can give me some more information about what other things you'd like for me to cover, because I've got a lot of things that I have ideas about, but not much time at the moment. Hopefully that'll change as well over the next few months. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and click the dingy bell, and I'll see you next time.